Hi guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment. The Soph and Meg Show is back. A lot for us to be talking about. United fans very, very happy this morning after the events of last night, and I'm sure that me and Meg will echo those thoughts as well. But firstly, Meg, how are you doing?
Hi, Soph. I am very well, thank you. Another Thursday coming round already. I feel like it's going really quick at the moment, but I am all good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Firstly, I want to get into our game the other day. Obviously, we played against Brighton, a massive win. It was one of them games really which could go either way. We know Brighton beat Arsenal not so long ago, so it was one of them where we said we were feeling confident, but if we didn't turn up as a team, it could have gone the opposite way, couldn't it? But with the performance, Meg, I'll be honest. That first half in particular, I thought we were absolutely superb and clinical going forwards as well. What were your thoughts on it?
We totally turned up, didn't we? We turned up and turned it on. I think it was a spectacle of a performance. It was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I could sit back, put my feet up. I really did enjoy just the way that they played. They looked like they actually went out there and wanted to win from the start. We didn't look like we wanted to give them a goal to go ahead. We looked like we wanted to go and dominate the game. And I think that the performance as a whole was superb. Was so good.
Yeah. I think I noticed as well, and I said this in my fan cam on the United stand. I think what I really saw was we were pressing high. We've saw in the past under Ollie that we let teams have the ball and we were quite content just to let them have the ball. We were pressing high and we were putting Brighton under pressure, and quite often we would nick the ball high up the pitch as well. And I think that's something that Bruno has instilled since he's come in. He's often the trigger. He's the one who pushes, and obviously the rest of the team follow suit. But I think Ollie deserves some credit as well, because it's obvious he's been training this press and how to do it as a team and as a unit, and we are improving at that.
Yeah, and I think that's when when I say about we look like we wanted to go out and win it. That's part of it. Defending is part of winning, and we look like when we lost the ball, we wanted to go back and get it in a higher level of the pitch. And it's crucial if you nick that ball that you do something with it. And we did do things with it. We looked like we were good attacking.
I think we looked awesome, and we mentioned that we wanted Greenwood to start over James. Obviously, that was one change that we wanted to happen. It did happen, and I gave Greenwood man of the match the other day. I thought he was quality. I thought he could go both ways. Got a great goal as well. Obviously, had an assist as well. Had involvement in the other goal. Greenwood, for me, the more I see of him, the more I like. And I know he's not typically a wide player, but I think he's playing really well on that right hand side, Meg. And do you think he should keep playing there?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's starting to make that wide position his own. He's getting to the point where he is unplayable. He's one of the first names on the team sheet now, and he's worked himself up to that position. He's not been granted it and gifted it. He has grafted to be on that team sheet. His involvement in the goals, the way that he worked, his whole work rate, because he stayed for the full 90 minutes as well. So credit to him for being able to do that as well. In a position where it's he's not walking back, he's running constantly. I probably would have stuck with Bruno as man of the match, but you have to give it to Mason that he will be, because I don't think we're getting the best out of him just yet. I think he has got even more to give. He will be a top quality player.
Yeah, his emotion as well. He did the little A celebration for Angel Gomez, and I was like, oh, my heart. But Greenwood is one of them players, isn't he? Especially, see, I know we've got players like Chong and Gomez, who we said we rated highly. Gomez, sadly, obviously, he's going to leave the club, but Greenwood seems levels above that kind of player, doesn't he? He's just getting better, like I say, week by week, and he just looks so mature on the ball. I can't remember when he gave the ball away at all the other day. He's just so composed on it, and you trust him with the ball. And like I say, I think he really aids Wan-Bissaka as well, because Greenwood, he can cut in, and he does often cut in. He drifts inside because he's not a natural wide player. Whereas Dan James, we know he's going to knock and run on the outside, and that's pretty much all he'll do. And Wan-Bissaka can't overlap him. But when Greenwood drifts inside, it creates more space for Wan-Bissaka. And I think that's how he's getting his 2 assists. Meg, obviously, in the last few games, he's been getting forward. He's got 2 assists. Wan-Bissaka's getting better as well, isn't he?
Definitely. And do you know what? On the other side as well, Luke Shaw, I think, because you've got Rashford on the left-hand side who likes to cut in. It's allowing Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka to be involved in the attack, and it gives you another option, because I think we have started in their attacking form because just of the way that we've been playing. But yeah, on both sides, Wan-Bissaka is more involved. Luke Shaw, you will seeing him getting to the touchline and cutting it back, drilling it across the 18-yard box, which you want to see. When you get to the touchline, that you drill it rather than try and float it over and cut it back. And really pleased with both of them.
Yeah, I think we've said that obviously Brandon James would like to see him play more. He is pushing Shaw for that spot, but I think since the break, I think against Spurs, I mentioned Luke Shaw was out of position a few times, but he recovered well to get back and make last-ditch tackles. But he had to make last-ditch tackles because he was out of position. And I think that he's gradually getting better. I think Luke Shaw has played well since the lockdown. And a lot of people that think there's an agenda against Luke Shaw. Certain people do have agendas against Luke Shaw, but for me, praise where it is due, credit where it's due. And I think since the lockdown, Luke Shaw has done reasonably well. I really do. I think Brandon Williams offers more going forwards, definitely. But I think Luke Shaw, like I say, I think the competition from Williams is just helping him, Meg.
Do you know what I think it is with Luke Shaw? Obviously, he's a big name. He plays for Manchester United. But I think it's a bit of a scapegoat because he's not the biggest name. And we don't want, when you've got a lot of people talk about Pogba. But I think with Luke Shaw, it's very easy to push the blame on him and just get away with it. And I think a lot of people do. I agree with you that I think he has achieved, well, not overachieved because that's not fair, but he's achieved more since the post-lockdown than he did pre-lockdown.
Yeah, I think Luke Shaw, people say that he isn't as fit as what he used to be. I do think that tackle affected him, but I think it affected him mentally more than anything. I think he doesn't fly forward like he used to do as a fullback. I think he's a bit hesitant sometimes. Maybe he panics a bit in the final third as well. You don't see him take a man on too much, but I just think it affected him mentally more than anything. And we definitely know that Luke Shaw, when we signed him, absolutely quality fullback. That link up he had with Memphis was just superb. And I'm just hoping he can find that form. I think I'm clinging on to Luke Shaw and just praying that he can find that kind of form again, because he's proved before he has got the ability, but he just has never fully recovered from that injury, I don't think, Meg, and it's a shame. But I think your boy Fosu Mensah will leave as well, so shame. As Fosu Mensah was on the bench obviously the other day. What do you think about him, Meg? Can you see him moving on?
I think if he doesn't get game time, I think he will go because players want to play. I think he comes across as a player who wants to play. You get certain players who are happy to sit on the bench. Now I'm going to name Ozil for one. He's just happily sat there with his brolly at Southampton, under his brolly, and he's happy to sit there. He gets paid for sitting there. I think for Fosu Mensah though, he looks like he wants to play, and I think if we don't give him the game time, then I can see players like that leaving, and that's a shame.
Yeah, I think Fosu Mensah, like I just said about the others, I think Chong obviously looks a talent. We yet to see more from Chong. People saying he needs to get stronger. I'd agree with that. Gomez is another one who obviously Ollie just didn't seem to fancy him for whatever reason. We have to be blunt about that. I just hope we don't regret selling him. Fosu Mensah is another one like that. I think Greenwood still is levels above. Greenwood is just a special talent, and I think when you compare the levels, I think Fosu Mensah is yet to prove that talent. Had a few injuries as well, but when he was out on loan at Palace in a weak Palace team, Palace fans loved him. He was one of their better defenders, and I just think maybe a loan deal, another season, getting his fitness back might be good for him.
I'd like to see United utilise loan deals a little bit more. We can see it with Henderson that he's gone out on loan at Sheffield. He's excelling there. He's playing consistently. So I think if you've got players like that, utilise the loan system more, because I just feel like players only get better when they're playing.
Exactly.
You can train in and around great players, but you need to be able to have match time as well. So utilise it, look like we've done with Henderson, and hopefully emulate that across other players as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, like you say, playing matches, getting match fitness and getting that experience is invaluable. It's better than any training session you'll have. So I completely agree. Thank you so much to Alex for the super chat. He says, I think it's time for United fans to enjoy how well we are playing. I hate people who still have agendas against players like Shaw, Matic and Martial, even though I've been playing well. I completely agree with that. You still find these fans, I say it loosely, but these people who like to pick on the negatives. When you're seeing a game like that the other day, the second half, it was nowhere near as good when Bruno went off, but the game was already won. And there's always people who try and overanalyze it and pick on certain players because of their own personal agendas. I completely agree with that. We're playing well, we're winning, focus on the positives, because positivity is what we need right now. We need to keep supporting the players, and that's what I've said about Marcus Rashford, Meg. Rashford, for me, since the lockdown, he's been poor, he's been sloppy, he looks really rusty. He looks like a bit low on confidence as well. His head is a bit down, to be fair, Meg. But you've got to stick by him, haven't you? And for me, he's been out longer than most because of his injury just before lockdown as well. Just give him the game time, keep playing, he'll get into the swing of it. And I think, like I say, it'll click with Rashford and he'll come back to form.
I think, well, you and I both know, having played numerous seasons, that during a season you will probably have a dip in form. Now that you can even have a dip in form, just even in a training session, you could be going, you could be flying, and then for 5 minutes you go a little bit flat and you go back again. So I think agendas against players, a player doesn't become bad overnight. So look at Bruno the other day, and De Gea. I'll bring up De Gea especially. He made some cracking saves second half. He had nothing to do the entire game, and then he pulls one out the bag, diving, I think it was to his left-hand side, mid-goal range. He hasn't had anything to do. Now, 3 games ago, everyone wanted him to leave the club, and it was Romero. We've got a cracking second choice. David De Gea has passed his time. No, he just had he had a bad game.
Yeah.
Bruno the other day, people slated him because he had a bad game compared to his usual standard. So I think for players, you have to, Rashford at the moment, just give him time, allow him to work out of the rut that he is in. Because like I said, you will have a fantastic season, but you might have a couple of games where you dip in form. Well, then as a player, you work hard to get out of that form and you come out the other side.
Yeah, I think if you automatically just drop Rashford, then his head just drops, doesn't it? I think he's one of them players where you need to keep giving him the confidence and keep obviously praising him, keep getting the ball to him as much as you can. And I think he'll get a goal where it's a scrappy goal, it's off his arse. I don't care how it goes in, but I think he'll get a goal and that'll lift him a bit. I genuinely do think that Rashford, once he gets a goal, I think it'll settle in a little bit. It just seem a bit on edge, and I'm just hoping that it just clicks into form. But you don't just pull him off and ruin the lad's confidence. You've got to stick with him. And to be fair, like I said, just keep giving him the ball. I think a lot with Rashford is, he's not playing well. His passing's been a bit off. His touch has been a bit off. He's still getting into the positions. And making defenders think. The run, obviously, for Bruno's second goal against Brighton, where it was a simple run, but it's the yards he made up to get into the box. He had the desire to get there, pulled the defender out, and obviously left Bruno free at the back post. And that it happens to any player. You have a dip in form, but he's still working hard. And I'll trust in his ability that he will get through this patch.
Definitely. I just think you have to allow players to do that. I've just seen Twisted Babbers just put, why do players have dips in form? For numerous reasons. If you look at everyone at the moment has just had this lockdown period, and you've got to get back up to scratch. Now, players will do that at different times. You might just find yourself just dipping in form. It just might be not your game, and that just happens. It's not a one simple answer, but I think players like Rashford works so hard. I think he will work himself out of the form that he's in at the moment.
Yeah, I was trying to say a massive thank you to David Moyes as well, because that result yesterday, I did not see that coming. Meg, West Ham obviously lost yesterday. Leicester lost yesterday as well. Do you think top 4 now is really doable? I think we're 2 points behind Chelsea, 3 points behind Leicester, I believe, as it stands. We've got the easier running out the rest of the teams. And last day of the season, we've got Leicester, Chelsea have got Wolves. So it's going to be really interesting. But do you think that momentum is with us now?
Yeah, I do. And I think with the Brighton game, we showed that we could break teams down that put players behind the ball. Now, we haven't done that, or we didn't do that at the start of the season. We allowed ourselves to just play around them, but we didn't actually purposefully attack and make good scoring opportunities. Whereas on what day were we on now? I've lost the plot. I don't have no idea day.
We're on Thursday.
So just a couple of days ago, we looked at how they set up. They put so many players behind the ball, and yet we were able to break them down on numerous opportunities. We did it. We played around the box nicely with a couple of one-touch passes. You've seen the Pogba and Bruno link up more than once. He hit the post on the first shot. Second time it goes in, and that's playing around the box. And then in the second half, you see us go on a counter attack. So we're mixing it up. We're scoring goals in different styles. So I think we've got some big games, but if we can do it against Brighton, I feel like we should, and we can do it against other teams as well.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people on about Martial against Brighton. He had a bit of a quiet game compared to what we've seen. Obviously, got a hat-trick in the game before that. But for me, Martial is the occupied. Bless you, Meg. I swear Meg sneezes on everything.
All the time. I'm allergic to you.
But yeah, I think Martial, too often we've said that he comes to feet too much. He doesn't spin in behind. His movement isn't good enough, and no doubt in his ability, but his movement just hasn't been good enough. And I think since we've seen the Bruno and the Pogba link up, even Greenwood and Rashford on either side of him as well, I think he has varied it up. I think he occupied their centre backs well the other day. I think his movement was decent, and like you say, we normally struggle against teams that sit back like that. We didn't struggle, and I think a lot of that is down to the movement, the fact that we're constantly moving the ball, the little combinations that we're doing at the moment. I'm loving that as well. I haven't seen us do combinations and look so fluid going forwards for a long time, Meg.
Fluidity is the word that sums it up. It was so good to watch, and I think players like Bruno and Pogba, we know we haven't had Pogba for the entire season, and obviously Bruno coming in January. They are players that can find a run. They are players that can split defenders with a pass. You've seen it over the last couple of games with Pogba, how he can find players with a ball that's just incredible. So I think Martial's been able to vary what his movements are because he knows that players will be able to find him.
Yeah, I think it's just a confidence as well. I know he got the hat trick the other day, and it's obviously the first hat trick he's got in his whole career, I think it was. That'll lift his confidence as well. But everything just seems to be ticking right at the minute, doesn't it, Meg? And I think that this running that we've got now, I feel confident with. It's just surely a case of keeping the players fit and being able to rotate, because we saw when we rotated against Norwich, is that quality of player good enough? And I think that's the conundrum that we've got now. That's the conundrum that Ollie's got. It gives him a bit of headache because he's got to rotate the players a bit. And can he trust the players who are going to be filling in for them players, Meg?
We have to trust in them because we're going to need them. So I think belittling them and slating them before the game's even been is harsh. But we're going to need players. You just said about the running. We've just counted the fixtures prior to coming online, and the amount of fixtures that we've got in such a short period of time. We're playing weekends and midweek consistently now till the end, like near the end of July. We're going to need those players because we're going to need to rotate and keep the players fit.
Yeah, of course. If we get an injury to the likes of Bruno, Pogba, then straight away that momentum is lost because we've seen the effect that they have on our team, and we've got to protect them at all costs, don't we? But Alex, thank you so much again for the super chat. He says thoughts on the silly VAR ruling against West Ham. Obviously, we don't know if it was for the offside or whether Antonio was in the way. What's your thoughts on it, Meg? I mean, we both have given our thoughts before on VAR, haven't we?
There was a debate in my household last night about whether Kepa could see the ball. So
because Antonio was lying there, wasn't he?
Yeah, as who scored? Socha? How you say his name? As he strikes the ball, it's almost like half under Antonio, and Kepa's going down a little bit, so it might distract him. But for me, silly rule. I was sat there thinking that's gonna be given. That's got to be given. The man's lying on the floor, but rules are rules, and if that's what they say, that's what goes. But
I'm just grateful that justice prevailed in the end. I'm grateful that Souček still got his goal. I mean, obviously West Ham scored, that would have been brilliant, but the fact that the same player scored as well, it was his first goal for the club. He finally got his goal. I was buzzing with that.
I couldn't believe that Chelsea allowed that to happen again from a corner. Yeah. I could not believe that you've just conceded from a corner. I know that it was disallowed, but then they've literally replicated it, and instead of it going to his foot, it's gone to his head, and he scored. He was in exactly the same place. So for me, poor defending from Chelsea. If you don't pick it up on the first time, you have to pick it up on the second time.
Do you think that Frank Lampard needs to get a bit of criticism for his team as well? Because obviously he brought Giroud on, he brought Loftus-Cheek on, he brought a bit of height on in the second half, and he made his changes. But it was obvious that West Ham were a constant threat from set pieces, Souček in particular. Do you think that he should have gone with more height in the first place? Because that was West Ham's main danger, really.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted last night that West Ham would be playing for corners during the second half because they were dangerous from every attack, every set piece. I think West Ham got something to play for. Let's not get wrong. They needed those points, and I think grit and determination from every single one of their players. It looked like they wanted it more than Chelsea. So it doesn't matter about what's going on. They wanted it more, So for that one that was disallowed, he was there first before anyone else. He reacted quickest. If you're going to go up for a 50-50 header like he did on his actual goal, he won the ball. So I think for me, it was just the fact that West Ham wanted it almost more than Chelsea did.
It's like a typical cliche, isn't it? When it's a derby game or if it's a final, form goes out the window. It's just one of them games where you just can't predict it really. But yeah, I'm buzzing with the result. Obviously, West Ham. I wasn't expecting it, but I'll
No, I
take
wasn't.
it. And the way that happened as well, I couldn't see West Ham putting 3 past Chelsea. But like I say, I'll take it. Johnny, thank you so much for the super chat. It says form is temporary, class is permanent. We've seen De Gea clash with the saves the other night. Rashford will return to form. Greenwood is showing class at the moment as well. Completely agree with that, Johnny. Hit the nail on the head. I'm sure Rashford will come good again. It's just about sticking with him. And yeah, I'm sure he gets confidence. I really am.
I love
West
that
Ham
little phrase that form is temporary and class is permanent. I think
true.
That's so
true.
Yes, so true.
So true. And West Ham will stay up, in my opinion. I think that was a massive win for them yesterday. I think they will stay up as well. I agree with that. But obviously, Bournemouth, we're going to start to preview that game in a minute. That is one team that, for me, I think they're looking trouble, Meg, and I'm hoping that we can capitalise as well on that as well, because their heads will be down. They got battered by Newcastle the other day, a Newcastle team that doesn't score many goals. To me, it looks like they're already down, Meg, in their heads. Like, I can't see where Bournemouth are going to find some inspiration from. What do you think?
I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. I look at that Bournemouth team and I don't see a spark. I don't see a player that is going to grab those players by the scruff of the neck and literally drag them into the Premier and keep their place in the Premier League.
It's like little stuff as well, like Fraser, who's one of their main players. Obviously, he's not signed a new contract, so he's not playing for the club anymore. They're just, for me, I don't know what it is about Bournemouth. Like, they used to be playing attractive football. Eddie Howe got them well drilled. They don't defend well, and they're not scoring many goals either. That's a massive problem for a team that's fighting to stay up.
I don't know, and I'm not saying that I know this, but it almost feels like they've plateaued off with Eddie Howe. Like, he's kind of reached where he's taken them as far as he can. It was almost like Pochettino at Spurs. He'd taken them as far as he could, and I just felt like with Pochettino at Spurs, he would never have got to that next stage. And I just think with Eddie Howe, are we seeing something similar where he's done all that he can with that team and he won't be able to get any further and he's kind of like plateaued off? I don't know, but I don't see them having just that spark. Like, I keep talking about this spark. You just need a couple of players just to grab you and just say, right, we are staying up. This is what we've got to do, and actually show it on the pitch.
Yeah, I agree. I can't see spark coming from anywhere for Bournemouth, and I'm just hoping that we don't eat our words on Saturday, to be honest. But if we turn up and we play to our potential, we know the quality of players we've got, then I can't see anything other than a United win. But like I say, we need to turn up. And for me, like, we can keep cheering West Ham beating Chelsea, we can cheer about other teams dropping points, but unless we take our own game seriously and actually concentrate on winning our own games, it's pointless, isn't it? So I always say, put yourself first. And we've got to take it each game at a time, which is why I'm not underestimating Bournemouth, because we've seen in the past what they can do to us. It's just about playing to obviously our best of our ability. Diesel says he's so jealous that we have Bruno. That's a proper number 10. We have to make do with Mesut Poppins. Mesut Ozil and his invisibility cloak, that's what I always say. But Ozil, someone's got to change there, Diesel. Meg, we've spoken about Ozil a few times on here as well, but you can't keep having this, leaving him out of the squad and coming up with a different story every week, can you? It's not good for everyone, is it? And thank you to Nicole as well.
Thanks, Nicole. No, it's not. And I think if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd want this situation to be addressed. I'd want to know why on earth we've got £350,000 player who gets £350,000 a week just sat there with a brolly at Southampton, just not included in the squad. What's going on? I would be expecting him to be on that pitch. And you can't deny that he's probably one of their better players. With the players that they've got, he's one of their better players. Who knows what goes on at that club sometimes? I don't have to worry about it though. So
exactly. Ooh. But Bournemouth obviously Saturday. It's my birthday on Saturday actually, so I'm hoping even more so for a win and plenty of goals. But what do you expect to make? Do you expect it to be the same line? Would you be, if you were Ollie, would you be thinking start with the strongest lineup and then take them off after the game is done?
100%. I would not be changing that starting 11. I think when you look at it now, those 11 that played the other night, for me, I don't know about you, Soph, but that is our strongest team.
100%.
Yeah. So I would put them back out, and then like they did last time, go out, finish the game off, and make changes after that. But we like you have said, and I'll reiterate it. We have to make sure that we're doing our job before we worry about other teams losing or dropping points. We have to make sure that we're getting our points on the board. So for me, you put that same 11 back out. Like I said, they vary it now. We're not all counter-attack football. We can play around the box. We can open opportunities up. So I would stick with them, get it done, dusted, and then I would move the team around and shuffle it for rotation once the goals have gone in.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm always a firm believer. Like against Norwich, I would have done the same thing, get the game done, and then obviously bring on your subs then. But look, either way, Ollie has got a difficult task. Like we've already mentioned, are the players filling the gaps good enough? And I think he's going to have a difficult one. But he's got to rotate players. We can't have major injuries. He's going to halt our momentum, obviously. And at the moment, momentum is with us. You look at what happened yesterday. We should be going into this game feeling really confident, and hopefully, like I say, getting some pluses on our goal difference as well, Meg. I'm expecting us to score goals. Like I say, Newcastle, a team that don't often score goals, have gone and put 4 against Bournemouth the other day. So as a United player, surely, Meg, you're thinking we're going to have a field day.
I think goal difference will be it could be majorly important. You look at how close it is. You've got the fact that we've got to play Leicester. Wolves and Chelsea have got teams around them. So it's going to be so tight that you may end up on the same points as somebody. So goal difference is going to be crucial. So hopefully we do see more goals going in. Another clean sheet would be amazing because that's 2 in the Premier League now.
Yep.
So on a roll, I would love to see a 3rd for a clean sheet.
Exactly. That's like your goals, isn't it, Meg? You as a centre back, looking me defender's head on.
Love a clean sheet.
But okay, so if you're saying we've got to keep a clean sheet, obviously we're expecting a few goals. So what is your score prediction for this one, and who are you expecting to score the goals? And let us know in the chat as well, guys. What is your score prediction against Bournemouth, and who do you guys think is going to be bagging as well?
I am looking at the fact that Newcastle scored 4, and looking at the fact that we scored 3 the other night. I'm going to go for a 4. I think if Newcastle can do it, and I think the way that we showed up, if we can play with that positivity, with that confidence, and keep that consistency going from the next game to the next one, I would like to see us put 4 past them and keep a clean sheet, because I know that Newcastle then dropped it at the end. So for me, it'd be 4-0, and I would go in to say just a Rashford goal. I don't really care who scores the other 3. I'd like Rashford to get them all 4 because that would just be incredible. But I think 4-0, and I think Rashford will get in. Will be on the score sheet.
I hope so. I always remember Rashford's assist against Bournemouth for Pogba when he did the little tip tap, little flip flap. I don't know if you remember it. It was against Ake, and then he drilled it across for Pogba. Yeah, I want that Rashford back. I want that Rashford back on Saturday. But I agree with what Nicole said. It echoes what you've just said, really, that we need to treat every single fixture with huge respect and focus on the game in front of us. We can't be complacent because we know what will happen in the Premier League. We saw what happened with West Ham yesterday. We can't be complacent. We've got to go into every game, and we've got to start sharp as well. I think I see a big difference in our performances when we start on the front foot, like we did against Brighton. We did against Sheffield as well. We scored early against Sheffield. But when we start on the front foot and pin teams back, I think that's when we are most effective, because we can get the game done in the first half then, and then we can rest some of our major players. But let's have a look what some of you guys are saying. Twisted Babber's gone 7 up. I hope that you are right. 7 goals up, but I hope so. 4-0 to United.
I have seen someone put an 8-0 somewhere. Let me just find
I would love that. But 4-0 to United.
Scottrell.
Martial, Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford to score. A few people saying Rashford, Meg. I'm hoping so. United way, John has said 3-0 to United. Chris Cottrell says 8-0, let's do it. Oh, Chris, if that is correct, I'll be buzzing. Put a bet on that as well, definitely. Sophia says 5-0 to United. Richard's saying 4-0, Bruno, Pogba and Rashford to score. The thing that I am loving on these predictions, Meg, is before we'd say we'll get a goal and it might be Rashford who gets it. But now, like, the goals with Bruno in the team, they could come from anywhere. The way that we are playing at the minute, the way that our fullbacks are getting forward as well, like I said, the combinations, anybody could score, couldn't they, Meg?
Yeah, and I've reiterated the same point that we are varying up how we score, and that's so important because when you're playing against teams, you can mix it up. The counter the other night was just unbelievable. It was such a good movement from start to finish, and the finish at the end. That shot from Bruno, you when it comes across like that and you see him like taking aim for a volley and you think this could go anywhere. You've got to be able to catch it.
That's who you wanted there, though, wasn't it? That was the guy you wanted to be there.
You can see, some players take aim and you think that's going rose head, and he got his head over it and it's gone down and straight into the back of the net. So love that. Someone just put Ighalo to score as well. There you go, Andy Gormley.
Andy as well would be good. But yeah, and Andy said Ighalo. Meg, would you? Ighalo is an obvious sub, isn't he, for Martial? So, like I say, get the game done and then bring Ighalo on. And I would love to see Ighalo score again because I love the guy. I really do.
I agree with you on that. He is one of those, though. He's probably, when you're thinking about attackers and the substitutes that you can make, Ighalo is probably one of the first.
Yeah, I like him because he gives us a bit different. Though his link-up play is good. He's an intelligent player. We know he can finish as well, but he gives us something different because he's that guy that if you're under the cosh a little bit, you can play it long and he'll hold it up or he'll win something. He's strong, obviously, at holding, and like I say, he can finish. I do like him. He offers us something a bit different, so I definitely look at bringing him on. And hope again, like he bags. But my score prediction, I'm going to say a 4-0 to United. To be honest, I think if Newcastle can put 4 past them, why can't we? I think if we start on the front foot like we have done the last few games, Norwich, obviously, I'm going to rule out Norwich. But apart from that, we've started on the front foot. We've looked good going forward. Bruno, Pogba, Matic are the perfect balance in midfield for us. And like I said, I just think we've got too much quality going forwards. And if I'm honest, I mean, Bournemouth have got a bit of pace going forward to the likes of King and Wilson, but I can't see them causing too much trouble for Maguire and Lindelof at the back. I don't know if you agree with me on that, Meg, but I just feel like we're going to have them comfortably. I think their confidence is shot at the moment, and I think that'll tell on Saturday. Yeah,
I think our defence as well, they must be flying high a little bit. Like I've said, the 2 clean sheets in the Premier League, so back to back. So I think you have to be confident. Confidence breeds confidence. I hope that doesn't turn to arrogance, and I hope the players can be grounded enough to realise to get the job done. And I think Ollie will drill that into them. He probably knows as well, the team that he's played in, you can't give the team other teams too much respect, but you also can't bowl in there thinking you've already won the game. The game's 0-0 to start with, and you have to go out and put the goals in to go and win it. So I'm loving the confidence from everyone in the chat, though.
Yeah, Jack's made a good point. What I love is that we have our best 11 sorted, and Chelsea, Leicester don't have their best 11 after the lockdown. Obviously, they're rotating players, and what I think it means is with Bruno and Pogba obviously coming back fit, Rashford coming back fit, it does feel like now we have got our strongest 11, doesn't it? It feels like finally the players that we wanted to be fit at the same time are fit at the same time, and everything seems to have clicked into place, doesn't it? That's why we all feel so confident in the chat. I think everything is just ticking over nicely at United at the minute.
Even so, like, we look at Chelsea and we have said, they've got a good squad. They've got a young squad. They will come into good fortune, I think. Look at Wolves; they're playing well, and yet we're still being so confident within our own players. Yeah,
and I think like little stuff like Bruno came off the other day. We weren't as good. De Gea made 2 great saves just after Bruno went off, and he was on the side. He was applauding De Gea, saying, "Come on, lads, get sharper," and just like talking to the players from the side of the pitch. We haven't had a leader. We haven't had someone with that kind of character to lift other players around the club for a long time, and that not just his movement on the pitch and how quality his touches are, the goals that he scored, it's his leadership for me as well, and I think that he's driven that mentality. Obviously Maguire has helped with that as well. He's the other leader we've got in the camp, Meg, but we haven't had players to lift other players for a while, have we? We haven't had that character.
No, completely agree with you. It's nice to see it. It's nice to see a couple of players take control.
Thanks for tuning in, Diesel. I appreciate it. I'll speak to you very soon. Hopefully be on Claude's channel with you as well, but take care.
But yeah, it's like saying it's nice to have a couple of players that will take charge and bring the best out of other players.
Yeah, I think another player who has proved a lot of haters wrong. I mean, I've criticised him in the past, but I've always said he's well experienced and he does the simple stuff well. It's because he's in a big name that people get on his back. But Matic, for me, has come into that midfield and it's just allowed Pogba and Bruno to have the freedom to go, and he's screened the defence well. I know we've played Spurs, of course, but we played Sheffield and we played Brighton, and people would say, oh, it's only Sheffield, it's only Brighton. But Matic, he looks like a new man, doesn't he, Meg, after lockdown?
Yeah, he's really secured that midfield up. You kind of feel like You've got that safety behind Pogba and Bruno, because Matic is playing so well. That, like you said, he's screening the defence, he's breaking up the play, which you want that player to be doing. You don't, before they get to the defender, you want a player to be able to intercept or be able to just break a run up. At times, Pogba and Matic were almost playing as deep as centre half on the other night. But I agree with you. I think he has come into one of his own after lockdown, and he's really deserved his place in the team.
He has, yeah, and like I've said in the past, I think Fred should be watching Matic and learning from his performances. That's how you play the CDM role. You've got to be disciplined. Fred, we know that his quality at winning the ball back. I think his distribution can be better at times, but he gets about the pitch. He doesn't give players a second in that midfield, but he's more of a box-to-box Fred, isn't he? He doesn't just sit, and I think that he needs to learn from Matic. If he wants to play in that midfield, he's got to be able to do that. He's got to be able to slide and obviously protect the back four. And that's what I mean. He should be learning from Matic's experience, because Matic is not getting any younger, and we are all aware of that, sadly. But Doug's asked a good question. It's something I haven't spoken about yet on my channel. But Meg, I saw you tweet about it as well. Wigan, obviously, heard the news they're going into administration following the COVID-19 pandemic. What's your thoughts on that? For me, it's just a real sad day in football. And I don't think they'll be the first club to do that as well.
I was really shocked. I don't know about anybody else, but they'd gone and beat Stoke the night before 3-0 and everything's hunky-dory. And then the next day they'd come out and they're in administration. I heard Dave Whelan on the radio, and he put so much into that club. But they've got losses, and they're in debt, and they're making losses. So I don't know. It's just a sad day. I think financially, I can't speak. I don't know the ins and outs of financial, the finance in football. But I was really shocked about it. I hope we don't see any more. I can imagine that there might be more, especially lower down in the leagues as well. But for me, it was just a really sad news that broke that they've gone into administration.
Yeah,
I don't know about the after effects tax. They were talking about a 12-point deduction, but if if someone's in the chat and they know more about this than me, but I did hear something about if they get relegated anyway, then they start next season with 12 points deducted.
Yeah,
that's 12 points is a huge amount.
I believe that the 12-point, it hasn't been organised yet. It hasn't been decided. I think they're appealing that, aren't they? But I think if they do get that points ban as well, or wherever you want to call it, I think it'll be disastrous for Wigan, really. And like I say, it's a shame. It's a sad day for football, not just for Wigan fans. Of course, it's heartbreaking. But I think we all knew that clubs were going to be affected by this pandemic. That's why so many people jumped on the backs of Liverpool when they announced their furloughing staff and Spurs, because you're saying there's smaller clubs who are going to be really struggling. And obviously, most clubs make the right decision regarding the furloughing, but it just shows that financially, football clubs nowadays are businesses, aren't they, Meg? Ultimately, we've said that about United now over the last few years. It's a business more so than a football club, and it's just a shame that financially some clubs are not going to survive this pandemic.
No, Doug just said they were bought 3 months ago. If you're sat there thinking, right, you've got a new owner, they're going to put their heart and soul into these clubs, managing the club, sorting it all out, and then 3 months later, they're not going to put their hands in their pockets. They're just going to almost throw it away. You'd be fuming as a Wigan fan.
Yeah, Alex says the 12-point deduction will be applied this season if they don't get relegated, but if they are relegated, then it'll be applied next season instead. So there you go. So either way, they're going to have it. Either way, they're going to get it.
That's a stab in the back, isn't it, really? Kicking when they're down.
Yeah, I agree with what Andy said. You wouldn't wish administration on any club, but it happened to Rangers in Scotland, and it's awful for everybody. It is because football clubs are massive things in communities as well. We saw what happened, obviously, with Bury. Football clubs in a community are more than just a football club, aren't they, Meg? Obviously, we can talk about our local experiences with football clubs, but it's just a sad for the whole community, for the whole football world. It's just sad news. And I'm just, like you say, praying that many more clubs don't get affected by it, but I just can't see Wigan being the only team that are going to be affected by it, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm hoping that they can get a new owner and hopefully it can be resolved. But the points, either way, they're going to be getting that, and that is just to rub salt into the wounds, really, isn't it? That's just adding insult to injury. But it is what it is, and it's unfortunate. But looking at the running then, Meg, how confident would you say that you are? Should we say out of 10, 10 being 100% is going to happen, 1 being never going to happen, and always getting top 4? how confident would you say you are looking at the running that we've got compared to other clubs as well? Let me know in the chat as well, guys. How confident are you that United are getting top 4?
The stutter on me makes me think I shouldn't go 10, but I'm also looking at this team, looking at what we've been doing recently, and thinking, hang on, why should I not be confident to get that third or fourth place? Because the way that we are playing, the only thing that really hinders me is, well, although we have drawn it back to 3 points, so that Leicester game at the end is going to be huge if they do find their form and they win the next few games and we continue to win. That Leicester game is going to be massive. I do think it will probably go down to the last day of the season with the Chelsea and Wolves game as well. But I am someone just put 9. I'm between a 9 and a 10.
Oh, that's confident. Like.
It is, but I just think, look at how we've been playing. Like, if we can consistently match those performances, which I think we should be able to do. The way, I did think Brighton would be difficult because they have put players behind the ball. We have struggled to break teams down like that, and we went and put 3 past them, and we did it in a way where we showed how we could do it differently. So for me, if you can replicate that into different games, into different scenarios, then why shouldn't we be confident? So I'm going all out. Probably bite me in the bum, but yeah.
See, Pereira Painting is kind of thinking along my lines of it. Yeah, he says if Pereira or Lingard play at any part, he's saying a 5.
Yeah, but they came on. They had how long, and we didn't concede with them on the pitch. I think if we can get the jobs done and be able to rotate, then yeah, I just think we should be able to. I do think it will go down to the last day of the season. I think that will be huge into who finishes 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah. I said it now. I've said 9 or 10, so I'm going to just stick with it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to say 8.5, and that sounds like so specific. But I'm thinking.
So you're only a 0.5 behind me.
Yeah, because like you said, the quality in our squad should be good enough. The teams that we've got left in the running. I'm just on that pessimistic side where I'm thinking if we get an injury to one of our main players, and I'm touching wood, I'm praying, I'm begging that we don't get an injury, but we've got to rotate players, which means that the likes of Lingard will probably get more game time. The likes of Greenwood, obviously, he's going to be rotated with Dan James. But if I'm Molly, I'm thinking put your strongest 11 out, get job done, take them off. And that's the way I would work it. But it all depends on the rotation. I just think with Bruno, Pogba, Martial, Rashford, Greenwood all staying fit, I can even think we can get 3rd, Meg. That's how confident I am because of the way Leicester have been playing. Chelsea dropped points there as well. I'll be interested to see how they bounce back. We've still got to play Wolves as well, who are going to be fighting for Europe. That is a massive game. Like, if you didn't think it before, now you're looking at that fixture and you're rubbing your hands thinking, what a game that's going to be. Chelsea against Wolves, obviously last game of the season. So I'm going to say an 8.5, and I'm purely basing that on the rotation of the squad that we will have to use. But I still think we've got enough quality to do it. I really do. But yeah, I want to say I'm overly confident, but I'm just preserving it at the minute. I'm preserving it just because of that rotation. But it's a hard question, to be fair, Meg. I did kind of drop you in it with that one.
I'm feeling confident. I'm still going for a 9.
And Nicole's saying 9 out of 10, but there is always that element of never say never. Exactly, Nicole. That's me in the back of my head. I'm thinking, don't go too high. Don't go too high. In my heart, I want to go 10, but I'm just thinking with my head a little bit. Even if you have to use Jones, don't hesitate. So long as we get the job done, it doesn't have to be pretty, although it would be nice. Yeah, exactly. Results. It's a results game at the end of the day, and getting 3 points is the most important thing over any performances at the minute. You can only pick one: Lingard, Sanchez, or Pereira. I'm guessing it means to keep at the club. Who would you keep, Meg?
Are we talking just technical wise, or are we talking about the whole package? Because Sanchez,
I'm going to say
Sanchez costs a lot of money.
I'm going to say we have to keep one of them at the club. The others can go. Which one would you keep?
I feel like I'm going to get stick for it, but I'd say Lingard.
I would agree. I think he's more of a rotation player. he obviously works up and know that. And the fact that he seems to get on with everyone in the dressing room, he's a local lad. I would probably say the same as well, and he's not on as much as Sanchez is. And Pereira, for me, is just dog awful. He's the worst player out of the three of them. So
that was a really tricky question, by the way, Johnny.
Yeah, good question, Johnny. I like that.
But I just feel that Sanchez is on too much, and I don't think he would perhaps be worth it.
Yeah, I agree. He's on way too much money. Yeah. Alex says, my dad must be so annoying. He probably talks about Wolves getting top four all the time. Honestly, constantly bombarding me on Twitter with Wolves tweets, Wolves stats and figures, Wolves fixtures, constantly talking about which Wolves players are going to make it into the England squad, Connor Cody, for example. Yeah, my dad is not shut up about Wolves. He's literally laughing, and I'm so anxious about it. I kind of hope that it's Wolves and us who get Champions League in the end, just to shut him up as well. But I'd also like to laugh at him if Wolves miss out, because honestly, he's doing my head in about it. And I keep saying, look, you're not going to. I think he's more bothered about finishing above us in the league, but just so he can brag to me, because he keeps saying Wolves are going to finish above us. So I'm just praying that we finish above Wolves at the end of it. But you'd be a fool if you said you weren't concerned about Wolves' form at the minute, Meg, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would be. They're obviously playing extremely well at the moment. They're flying on confidence just as we are. The only thing I would say is that I've got the points on the board, but we've also got the goal difference to go alongside it. So come back to the point that goal difference is that extra point. So, and that's how close I think it will be. I think that we're talking about the 4-0. I want to see 4 goals go in, because that's so important come the end of the season, or could be.
Yeah. Do you think Wolves have what it takes to finish in the Champions League? Obviously, I'm saying that we're in the Champions League regardless. If it's Wolves and Chelsea, have Wolves what it takes to make it, do you think?
All I would say is fair play to them if they get it, because I didn't expect to see them so high up. So if they do, then fair play.
I think, Alex, if that does happen, then me and my dad have to do a watch along on the channel, because I think that'll be so entertaining, but horrific at the same time, because it'll be raw emotion as well. So, Alex, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that we just win regardless, and Wolves just, at some point, Wolves just hit a downturn, and yeah, I'm hoping. But at the moment, I think the likes of Adama Traore coming on is such an important player for them, because he transforms the game. If your plan A isn't going to plan, you bring him on and he just transforms it. And that's something that they've got, which I think will be effective in this running for the top 4. But
it's like their trick shot.
Yeah, it is. I think Wolves, that they never expected. I was talking to my dad about this the other day. Never expected, obviously, to finish where they are. But they've got the bonus of having the Europa League as well as a method of trying to get into the Champions League. And because it's tournament football as well, that they're also fancy the chances in that tournament. And I think it's going to be an interesting one. But of course, I'm praying that we finish above Wolves, purely for the banter talks with my dad, because he does not shut up about it, bless him. But yeah, come on, United, finish above Wolves for my sake, please, for my mental health.
Just for safety.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm not even thinking about that option at the minute of Wolves finishing above us. It can't happen. Definitely can't happen. Can we clap for David Moyes, who did his job after so long? What a loyal person he's been for United. Yeah, he said he wanted to get the best for United, and obviously that result yesterday could well send us back into the Champions League. So thank you to David Moyes for that one. Adama, first 100 pace player on FIFA. I've never seen a player as fast and strong as him, Meg. Never seen a player as fast and as strong as him.
I don't know if anyone's got any stats, but I'd like to have a look at his stats just to see what top speed he's hit.
Yeah,
I feel like he would set off, if you've got like a speed camera, he would set it off. he'd have some tickets coming his way.
Ridiculous. He just leaves players for dead, doesn't he? I've never seen a player that strong and that quick. Abdul says, hello, Sophie and Meg. Which players would you let go and sell this summer? We've already said Phil Jones would be one that would go. Pereira, Sanchez. Who else would you be shipping out, Meg?
I don't know, because I feel like I'd need to know who.
Depends on who we get in. Yeah, I completely agree.
Because I feel like we've seen it this season where we didn't have the depth in squad. We were short. When everyone was injured or suspensions come in, we were short of players. So yeah, for me, I think I'd need to know who was coming in as to who you could let go.
Yeah.
But without knowing that, then I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. Because like for Lingard, for example, he's one a good example player, because we say that he's a squad player, but if we're shipping players out, that squad becomes even thinner. So he's a player that you probably have to keep, purely for the fact that he's quite versatile, can play a few positions, And like I say, he gets on with everybody. He's a local lad, and I think he would stay for that reason, purely to be a number, to be a squad player. But I think it could be Wolves and United in the Europa League final if they don't meet before the final. I'm praying that doesn't happen, but it definitely is a likely thing that could happen. I completely agree with that. I just saw someone saying that normally daughters support the same team as the dad. Where's he gone? I think it was twisted. Yeah, not me and my dad. But my dad will openly admit that he has got a very soft spot for Manchester United. So that would explain the United love. But he has got a soft spot, especially when Wolves are in the Championship. He would support United in the Premiership, but now obviously his beloved Wolves have gone up. Makes it a bit more difficult, but he has got a soft spot for United as well. He will openly say that. And I think it's from taking me to Old Trafford as a kid and stuff as well. And he was a massive, obviously, Fergie fan and just a massive football fan. So United have dominated for so long. I think he's always just had a soft spot for them. Greenwood looks like a very young Robin van Persie. Talent, very promising talent, bright future at the club. Completely agree. But I don't want to overhype him as well, Meg. I think he was quality the other day, and I do think he's getting better. But I think it's important that he stays grounded, isn't it?
Definitely, I think we've seen it a lot of times where we've had players, not just at United, across the English, English players, and we're like, yeah, he's going to be the next superstar, or he's going to be the next this, and he's going to be the next that, and they haven't quite reached that potential. But keep him grounded, keep him working hard like he is doing, because the way that he is working, he will just rise up to that superstar level.
Yeah, I think his ability and the potential that he's got and the way that he's progressing, exciting times, definitely. But let's stay grounded. Let's stay grounded, definitely. And like I say, let his football do the talking, because he's been doing that so far, and I love that about Greenwood. You'll always be thankful for your dad, then. That's a lovely story. Of course, always thankful for my dad. To be fair, my dad is a massive part of me being a footballer, and I'm sure I'll make it similar for you. But my dad would take me to games home and away every Sunday, training twice a week as well. Like, dad proper pushed me in terms of football, but like I say, he started it all off by taking me to United games because I love Paul Scholes. So yeah, definitely a lot of love between my dad and United, and people think he's a massive Wolves fan, which he is, but he's got a soft spot. And I keep playing on that soft spot and trying to make him turn, but he doesn't do it. Doesn't do it at all. And the last one, Meg, the last discussion I want to do just before that we head off and have a nice evening and watch some football, if that's what you're doing. Angel Gomez is going. Sad. But is it the end of the world?
Only time will tell. I mean, look, we let Pogba go, and look what happened. We've had to buy him back for how much? So I think time will tell. It could be the worst decision that we've ever made. It could just be one of those decisions that you will forget about in the next couple of seasons. I'll be interested to see where he goes from here. I was thinking about this earlier, about what's his next move. Is it a Premiership club? Does he go out and get, does somebody come in for him, or does he go abroad? Because I think I feel like he might go abroad. I feel like we'll see him probably in the German league.
Well, it's either abroad or apparently Chelsea are interested. I would rather him go abroad than go to Chelsea, if I'm totally honest, because if he does progress into the player that a lot of people are anticipating, we won't regret it as much if he's not one of our rivals, would he?
Agreed, but I feel like he perhaps might be in a situation where he was in at United at Chelsea, where he's not getting the amount of game time that he wants. Because I think that he wants game time. He also wants to be paid for that game time, apart from what I've read and rumours. But I would prefer to see him go abroad. I definitely wouldn't want to see him at Chelsea, because I think he could turn into a really good player. But like I said, time will tell if it was one of our worst decisions or not.
Yeah, United way is spot on as well. Just before we go, if you haven't hit that like button, please do hit the like button. I really appreciate it. And of course, as always, guys, if you are new and you are enjoying the content, please do hit that subscribe button as well for the hairdryer treatment. And as always, Meg, I absolutely love doing these shows. And football's back, so we have so much more to talk about, which I love as well. But absolute pleasure to have you on, and thank you so much for coming on the channel again.
Thank you so much. You can find us on Hairdryer Treatment. You can also find us on Twitter if you've got any more questions. And we will be back.
Of course, and ladies and Meg are back obviously this weekend as well. Hopefully talking about a successful United performance and a lot of goals for United that we have anticipated as well. But if we have missed your comment in the chat, we don't mean to. Obviously, a lot of comments are flying by. Just drop a comment on the video afterwards, and me and Meg definitely will check there as well. But all that's left to say, guys, is have a lovely rest of your evening. Enjoy the football tonight. Go on, Meg.
I don't know who it was, but someone earlier, whoever you are, you mentioned that Sophie had her hair done. Now, what an observation, because most men just don't see it. And I will say congratulations, because you've got points there. If that's what that's what you can notice, congratulations, because Sophie has had her hair done. As you can see, I haven't. So I forgot to mention it earlier. I wanted to be like, yes, that man's got brownie points.
Yeah. Oh, a massive as well. Thank you for complimenting my hair. I really do appreciate that. I must have missed that comment, and that seems quite rude that I ignored it. So thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it. And also a massive shout out to Doug. Anniversary wishes, obviously, for Doug and Rebecca. Today it's their anniversary, so send some love Doug's way as well, and Rebecca's way. And I hope you've had a good anniversary, Doug. But yeah, guys, thank you to everyone. I'll speak to you again at the weekend. Fingers crossed United get that win, and fingers crossed we push it even closer to getting Champions League next season. Take care, guys. Cheers.
Bye.